Hi, I'm Vanessa and welcome to the Lunar Review. Today I'm going to be talking about the sign of Cancer and the body parts that Cancer rules over. But first, a little bit about the sign. So Cancer is a yin sign, meaning that she is feminine. So words that describe yin are soft, quiet, cold, dark, still, passive, receptive, and magnetic. And yang, on the other side of the polarity, on the other side of the seesaw, is basically everything that yin isn't. So yang is rough, loud, hot, active, outgoing, go out and get it. Yang, if it wants it, it's gonna go and get it and take it. So yang is summer, daytime, and represented by the sun. Yin is winter, nighttime, and represented by the moon. So the moon is the ruler of Cancer. So this makes her a very feminine sign. So this is all soft and curvy and loving and nurturing. And this sign really wants to sift experiences through the heart. So Cancer can relate to people and places and ideas through their emotions, and they easily pick up on the emotions of other people around them. Their bodies are like giant antennas, so it makes the job a lot easier. And they are tasked with being the caregivers of the Zodiac. They are representing the archetype of the mother. So the body parts that Cancer rules over are the stomach, the breasts, and when a woman is pregnant, the womb, which I'll explain a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So ruling over the breasts, which relate to the female. Now, men do have breast tissue and they have nipples, which can also be erogenous zones. And you might ask, well, why does a man have breasts in the first place, or nipples? And it's because in utero, we're all from the same blueprint. So for the first few weeks, we actually look very similar. But then around 7 weeks or so, different hormones kick in. And when you are becoming a boy, the testosterone kicks in, but you still have the imprint of nipples. So they never fully develop. And that's why men have them today. So, and it's interesting because they even have the ability to lactate, as I just discovered in my research, under extraordinary circumstances. So these circumstances are not good though. They are starvation, so complete nutrient deprivation that throws off their entire hormonal system, or a tumor or disease of the pituitary gland. So these are not good reasons why they lactate. So this is not the nutrient-rich nectar of mother's milk that they're producing. This is more like a toxic leakage. So, and if men do have enlarged breast tissue or man boobs as we all know them, then it's a medical condition and it's called I'm saying this right, gynecomastia. And it's because this man is chunky or obese or has some sort of hormonal imbalance. Cancer ruling over the breast makes perfect sense in this case because this sign represents the archetype of the mother. So it's interesting because on the other side of Cancer, we have Capricorn, which is on the exact opposite side of the zodiac wheel, and Capricorn represents the father. So we've got the mother and the father. We've got the two parents here. So the mother's nourishment that she gives her children, it's literally giving of herself. And you have to be calm when you're doing this, and you have to be sitting and comfortable. And it's also a bonding experience between mother and baby. You're probably, looking into each other's eyes and all the rest of the world is shut out for the moment. So it's actually just a very yin moment. It's not just some obligatory action without any feeling. It's not this perfunctory act. It's a source of joy for both mother and child. Then we have the stomach. Cancer is also ruler of the stomach. The stomach is an interesting organ. It looks like a bag. It's kind of crumpled. It looks, maybe you would say, like a brown bag, that's been completely crumpled. And on the inside, there are all these little crevices that are called gastric rugae. And this gives it a lot of surface area so that when food enters the stomach, In Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, we say that the job of the stomach is to rotten and ripen the food, and it churns it. You know, we've got all these enzymes, and it basically is liquefying and dissolving all the contents of the food. There's a fermentation process that's occurring in the stomach. And basically everything that we take in, it all has to be dissolved, broken down, so then it can be distributed throughout the body. And I liken this to how Cancer intuits reality, that Cancer will take an experience in its totality, dissolve it in a liquid state by the body, meaning that it feels its way through the experience in order to gain knowledge. Then the new knowledge, the new perceptions, the information naturally flows through and from the heart. So this is why Cancer is so intuitive and why it's right for them. It's the correct thing for them to rely on their gut feelings and their instincts. So it makes sense why Cancer rules over the stomach. And Cancer is the nurturer of the zodiac. So if you feel good, they do too. And how do you feel good? You feel good by having enough food and nutrition, and being strong from eating enough and from having enjoyment of eating. To further explain about the womb versus the uterus, God, it sounds like they're going to have this face-off. The womb versus the uterus, but in actuality, they're the same exact thing. It's just that when a woman is pregnant, then we enlist the term womb, but otherwise it is called the uterus. And basically the uterus is the central organ of the female reproductive system. And in traditional Chinese medicine, the womb is called the palace of the child. And that's because Chinese medicine is ever so poetic and has beautiful descriptions of things. So as mentioned, the moon is the ruler of Cancer. So a little bit more about what the moon represents. It is our instinctual reactions, the thoughts and reactions that come just completely unbidden, without us having to think about it. It's the part of us that is hidden, that's hard to know or hard to control. Basically, what it comes down to is that ultimately we only have mastery over our reactions to our reactions. So that means, well, actually, I learned a very funny German word, which I'm probably going to butcher, something Backpfeifengescheit, and it translates to a face that's badly in need of a fist. So this is someone who you meet and you just want to punch him in the face. You don't know why, and usually you don't, because your initial reaction is to do that, but you don't because you take a minute. So you are reacting to your initial reaction. So just because you meet someone that you don't like doesn't mean you have to be rude to them, doesn't mean you have to punch them in the face. So the moon is also what we need to do to feel secure. It's the behaviors that mobilize us to reach security. It is the level of comfort that we need to be happy. The moon is a feminine entity, so there is always a mystery about her, a lunar mystique. So this all means that the natural mental state of Cancer is paradoxically emotional. So there is just huge potential for emotional intelligence here. Their strength, you know, it's based on that heart-based intelligence. Being fundamentally lunar, the sign of Cancer embraces the nostalgic, the romantic. They engage in fantasy and dreaming, and I think it's because moonlight itself provides a certain romance by creating shadows, fuzziness, you know, there's a surreal quality to everything. So we're literally seeing shades of gray, and nothing is black and white. Things are not so easily defined in the glow of a moonlit night. So this is really wonderful for creativity, reflecting on situations, embellishing and growing the fantasy life. However, this is also where there's the propensity for lunacy under the moon's dominion. So delusion, unhinged fantasy, intoxication, madness, all fall under the lunar influence. So, you know, when you're fantasizing, there are no boundaries in your mind, and you can basically connect with anything that you can drum up in your mind, anything you can imagine. So you can add twists and turns, you can be violent, you can be overtly sexual, you can be so fabulous or a complete victim. And all of these fantasies can offer some sort of erotic release within your psyche. So with all limits removed, if your mind is unhinged or ungrounded, you can lose all your psychic protection. So this could happen because of psychedelics, intoxicants, extreme fear, excitement, trauma, or something that you purely imagined. And that's because your nervous system can't tell if an event is real or not. Your heart will race, adrenaline will swarm your body, your bronchial tubes will widen for more air, your breathing will get heavier. So whether it's real or not, it's the perception that sets off alarm bells in your body. So that's why we get scared when we're watching a movie, because our physiology reacts instinctually. So our body, our nervous system responds as if situations were real, whether we're imagining them, dreaming them, watching them. So it's easy to see how the passion and extreme emotional expression can descend into madness and lunacy. And this isn't just a Cancerian thing. It's a state of being. Cancer, the sign of Cancer, just happens to be that sign which is the first water sign. And water is sensitive, it's intuitive, it's emotional. It's yin, it's feminine, and it's ruled by the moon. So it is the emotional realm. And so there is a susceptibility to the goings-on, the atmosphere, the actions and thoughts of people around them. For Cancer, the subtle changes in the environment might not be so subtle for them. On the upside, due to their porosity and the thinning of the veils, their intuition is sky high and spot on. And if they just follow this guidance, they can do so effortlessly. They can navigate their life much easier. They have this advantage. They can connect deeply with people and just have a rich, vital existence as a human being. And it's interesting to note that delusion, disillusion, illusion, confusion, addiction, and escapism, madness, all of these are now attributed to the planet Neptune, which is one of the outer planets. It's a planet that we cannot see without a telescope. And that originally, traditionally, all of these traits were assigned to the moon. So you can note your internal rhythms and observe events that are going on during a full moon. During a full moon, you might feel an extra sensitivity. You might just have a sense of the bizarre or the weird. You might have more dreams, creative ideas, or you just might be able to feel more. And the moon is always in opposition to the sun when it is full. So this really ignites a contrast between the two energies. It could feel like your inner world, which is the moon, is not jiving with or in sync with your outer world, which is the sun. So the outer world isn't meeting your expectations. You might need time and space for yourself, but your public demand, life demands that you show up. All your adoring fans, you have to get out there. Or it could be that your domestic and private life feels really empty and vacuous, and you're seeking stimulation or fulfillment in other people, outside events, parties, and that really you've got nothing to go home to. In general, in Cancer season, it's just good to err on the side of going easy on yourself. To, have a siesta for the whole afternoon, load up your cake with whipped cream, or just do whatever it takes to enjoy the softer side of life. Well, I hope that you enjoyed listening to this video, and if anyone would like to book a reading with me, please go to my website, thelunarreview.com, and I will be back again. Take care. Bye-bye.